Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, actually. I'm Lori Yoakum. I'm the director of Wilson Public Library. We are doing another community chat on this beautiful sunny day. We should be doing this outside. Maybe we have
Most
more people
definitely.
take us up.
That's right.
Today we have Karmen Morse with the AfterZone program at Cozad Elementary School. And she's going to talk a little bit about the program and what it does and what's coming up for summer and all the stuff.
All the stuff. Okay.
Carmen,
All right.
so good to see you.
Good to see you. So I am the director of Cozad AfterZone. We are a after school and summer program. We offer those, and we are funded through a 21st Century Learning Grant, as well as we also have other donors such as Charitable Fund of Cozad, Wilson Foundation, Cosman Foundation, and then also some private donors also that donate to our program. During the school year, we go from about 3:20. As soon as kids get out of school, they come directly to us. We do snack. We let them go outside for a little bit or to the gym, depending on the weather. And then we do academics from 4 to 4:30. From 4:30 to 5, we do rotations where they can go to the gym or to one of the classrooms and play games. And then we end our day with from 5 to 6 in the cafeteria. A lot of times that's when parents are picking up, and we have games and puzzles, and we do all kinds of activities with the kids during that time. So during the summer, we go from 7:30 in the morning until 5:30 every day. We offer breakfast, lunch, and a snack in the afternoon. And we go from, this summer, we will go from June 2nd till July 25th. We usually start the week of Memorial, but with school going a week later, we usually need a whole week to plan and get everything set up. So the week of Memorial is when we will be working on getting all of our stuff set up. So we'll be ready to go on June 2nd.
So when's your last day?
Our last day will be the 22nd.
Okay, so the last day of school is actually the 23rd, is
Yes,
that right?
right. And they get out at 11 on the 23rd. So our last full day of school will be on the 22nd.
Okay.
So.
And can you tell us what grades this is for?
Yeah. We cater to kindergarten through 5th grade during the school year. During the summer, our 5th graders will be aged out, and then we will take incoming kindergartners.
So it's incoming kindergartners.
Incoming kindergartners.
Through incoming 5th grade.
Yeah, through incoming 5th grade, yep. And what's nice, I always tell my incoming kindergartners, and I tell the parents, it's a huge, huge thing for them to be able to come in the summertime, because when that first day of school happens, those kids are like, oh, you want to know where to go? I can show you where to go. It's kind of neat to see that,
So they can familiarize themselves.
Exactly. And they know where they're going, and it's kind of fun because other kids that are coming that haven't come in the summertime, they'll go, hey, no, that's okay. I'll show you where we need to go. And so it makes it nice and makes them a lot more comfortable in coming to the school in the fall.
It'll be interesting to see how much that changes since the preschool is now
Yes.
up.
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously the kids who attend the school's preschool will have a little bit of an idea of the building.
Yeah.
But still, they have a separate lunchroom.
Yes, they have a whole separate wing. Yep, and so they keep them separate, other than they do go to the library and they do some other activities in the gym. Yep. So,
how long has the AfterZone been going on?
So we are on our, if I'm not correct, 19th year. So, yep.
Okay.
So it's been in Marcia. Fritz was the one that started, her and Mindy Young started the program. And about 4 years ago, Marcia wanted to retire and was looking for someone to take over the program. And so, yeah.
Okay. How much does this cost per student, or how does that work?
So ironically, during the school year, we charge $3 a day, which is from 3:20 to 6 o'clock is when we're open.
For every student?
Only the students, so the students that actually qualify for free and reduced lunches do not have to pay, sorry. And they don't have to pay, and then the other students are $3 a day, so, yeah.
And then in the summer?
In the summertime, we're actually working on possibly changing our rates, and so that will be coming, and then.
If you talked about last year, what were the?
Last year, so if they attended 5 hours or less, it was $10 a day. 5 hours or more is $15 a day.
Is that also for, like I said, is that all students?
Free and reduced are free.
Still in the
Mhm.
summer?
Yep. And then those that don't qualify, then they do the $10 or the $15
Okay.
last summer.
I know I took AfterZone up on it when my kids were in elementary. That was a long time ago. And at that point, AfterZone transported to different places.
Right.
Do you still do that?
No, we don't. With DHHS, licensing and regulations.
Okay, that's Department of Health and Human Services.
So Department of Health and Human Services, we are actually licensed through them as a child care facility. And so with some of their, I guess you'd say requirements and policies, we voted not to do any more transporting. The only time we really ever transport kids is if we do field trips in the summertime, and we do that by bus. So.
Do you guys do lunch at the elementary
Yes.
for summer?
Yes, in years past, they had walked up to the middle school or the high school for lunches. Since I have been in the program, it has been made possible for us to be able to be served in the elementary. And now with having our the full kitchen, that makes it even better for us too. So.
Yeah, and you guys do walk them over, because like you bring them over for the library
Yes.
summer reading.
Yep.
Yeah.
We do a lot of activities in the summertime. A lot of the things through the library. We also go on walking field trips. And last summer we talked about different careers, exploration, and we invited different community partners and parents to come in and talk about their jobs and their careers in the morning. And then we furthered that with activities and stuff for the kids that day on those different careers, and gave them kind of an idea of some of the different careers that are available in our community. So
that was last year. What's your theme this year? What fun things do you have planned this year?
So we are going to actually continue with career explorations. I had multiple people that have reached out to me that would like to participate this summer. And so last summer we did, each week was a different field, and then each day was a different career in that field. And so we're gonna kind of go along the same lines, but then we're gonna go with some different career fields. So anyway, I think it'll be a fun activity. The kids loved it, and it was great for the community to see what our program looked like. And it also was neat for the kids to see what that career was, so.
When you were talking earlier about the day, what the day looks like. I know a long time ago, after the kids would come in, like I said, this is back when the kids were, those classes after academics were considered enrichment. Is that what you still do?
Yep, we still do that. We do have.
And what types of things do you do for enrichment?
Well, we do have other places that come into our program. Jenny from the library will come in, and she does talk or read with the kids. We've also had future kids out of Lincoln and Omaha come out and teach the kids soccer and some other sports related games. And then we also, my staff sits down with the kids, and we also do games and stuff one-on-one with the kids and different activities.
Do you still have Girl Scouts coming in?
Yes, we had Girl Scouts coming in. The current, Melissa that was with them has since resigned from her job, and then so we're just waiting to hear if we'll have somebody different.
And then I was thinking that you were doing something with the greenhouse.
Yes. So we actually have our own fully functioning greenhouse. We haven't done a whole lot in the last couple of years. This spring, we are going to be working on, we've already started doing some planting with the students and keeping those plants in the greenhouse. So each grade level is going to be planting a different type of seed, and then they're responsible for that plant to keep it watered and monitor it. And then they'll all be housed in our greenhouse. We're also, we're lucky enough to get some seeds through Bayer. One of our parents works for the Bayer company and corporation, and donated a bunch of seeds, and they are all kinds of pollinator seeds. And so there's different flowers and stuff. So we're going to be, on top of what we're already planting, we're going to be working on planting some of those and transplanting them. We have wooden flower boxes out in front of our school. And so we will be working on growing those and then transplanting those into those.
Because the elementary school is a pollinator garden, isn't it?
Yes.
Is that through the National Arbor?
It's actually, it's through Nebraska. We had worked with them originally with the pollinator plants and had those. With construction, one of the potting areas that need some help. So that's why we thought if we could do some more of the pollinator plants. And then also there's talk also of us putting some more stuff out front in our landscaping and stuff, and maybe having some of the kids transplant some of those out in the front also. So kind of expand on what we already have for pollinators. So yeah.
And you have an advisory board? Can
Yes.
you tell
Yes.
everybody about that?
Yes, we have an advisory board that meets once a month. That consists of parents and then also some community leaders in the community. And we discuss everything that's coming up. And then plus we also talk about, I always like to get ideas too from my advisory board of things they would like to see or things that they would like us to do and, going forward, so.
You also do family nights
Yes.
throughout the year.
Yes.
Including one in the summer.
Yes.
And you had a very successful one in the
Yes.
summer, you had said. Can you talk a little bit about what you did last year?
Yeah.
For Family Day in the
Yeah.
summer?
Yeah.
And then what you've done this school year?
Sure.
As well as what your plans are for this coming summer?
Yes, so last summer, we were able to, we received an ESSER grant. And so part of that ESSER grant was to use money towards our family events. And so last summer we had water bounce houses, a Bubble Mania machine, we had a dunking booth, we had a train that they could ride on, we had a snow cone trailer there. And we served walking tacos. And with having new principal and a new superintendent, this worked out really well because our principal was able to come and meet a lot of the parents too, and then also to see our program. But we had 150 plus people at our family event that night, which is the most we've ever had. So it was a great turnout. So. And it was ironic because we did have some kids that come during the school year that came. So it wasn't just my summer.
It was a word of mouth.
It was a word of mouth. Yep. In the fall, we always have one in November. We have one November 5th. We did have bounce houses inside the gym. And then we also had the storybook walk from the Wilson Public Library, put that on. And then we ended up, we did have another one just in March. And it was we called it our family game night. And we did something a little different. Great Plains Gaming Project out of Lincoln. They are very well, I guess you say, versed on different games for families. And so I invited them to come out, and they came out and talked about all the different family games, brought some different games, set them up on tables, and let the parents and the kids sit at the tables and play games. And it was huge. It was we had about 14 families that came. And ironically, the ones that attended said that this was probably one of the funnest ones they had, just because they got to learn different games. And then the guys that came out actually sat with the different families and helped teach them the games. And so it was a whole different type of.
Well, they did it as a family.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yep.
The other thing that you had talked about right when you started was how you were funded.
Yes.
Now, that is a federal grant.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about the grant process?
Yeah.
And where you are in that?
Yes. So our grant, it is a 5-year grant. And
Is that through the Department of Education?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And we, in 21st Century, which is a division of Nebraska Department of Education. And we have to go through a very rigorous application in order to be able to qualify for the grant. And we are in our 9th year, so next year I will start the ramping up process of getting approved for the grant again.
So 19 years, so you've gone through 4, not you personally, but
Yep.
the program's gone through 4 cycles.
Yep.
Have you heard anything with what's going on at the federal level about if the money's gonna be there?
As far as from what I've been told, that with us being a part of Nebraska Department of Education, and that as of right now, our funding will not change. So.
Is there a backup plan in case something happens?
We've been in talks in case something does happen, but that's about all it's been so far, so.
Okay. Do you have any questions, Jose? I've been seriously hogging the question.
Gotcha. No, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I had a few. So you mentioned how AfterZone is throughout the school year and of course during the summertime.
Mhm.
I was wondering if you have like an approximate number of like how many students participate in, you know.
Sure. So as of when we first start out in the school year, we usually have quite a few.
Mhm.
And as the kids start getting older, we kind of start losing some of our older
Right.
kids.
Mhm.
And the most we had on one day was 135
Oh, okay.
for after school, but we've been averaging about 110 a day.
How many kids are actually in the program though?
So as of right now, I have 175 that
Signed
are
up.
registered.
Yeah, so I guess that's one question.
Yeah.
Is how do parents get more information?
Sure.
How do they get into
Yeah.
summer? Is
Most
there a
definitely.
limit
Yeah.
for summer?
So ironically, we've been averaging, the first summer I took over was in 21, and that summer we averaged about 60 kids a day. The summers after that, we've been averaging about 80 kids a day during the summer. And we are currently taking registrations and enrollment forms for our summer, as well as they can also already sign up for the fall, so that way we can kind of get an idea of how many we will have in the fall.
Okay.
We're probably maybe halfway full right now, so, we're still able to take more kids if.
So what's full?
Full would be, so I think last summer we had about 130 registered. And like I said, we only had about 80 a day. And it's kind of one of those where we do have some that come every day. We have some that come only certain days of the week. We have some that come certain times of the day. And so it kind of has worked out where we just kind of even out about 80 kids a day, depending on, who comes when and that, so. Yeah.
Do parents have to pay whether or not their kids come?
No, no, this is just if your children attend, then you just pay for when your children attend.
Oh, okay.
And then how do you figure out staffing for that?
So, our staffing is 1 to 15. So we have to have 1 staff to 15, students.
So do you hire for
Yes.
the big number?
Yeah, so in the summertime, or during the school year, I have about 10 that help me, during the school year. In the summertime, I have about 20 that I hire to help. And a lot of them, we have a lot of, adults, full-time staff, and then I do, hire also high school students and also college students. And so, I've had some, college students in the past, that are going into the education field and have come to, I guess you'd say, work in the program to get some experience working with the students. And ironically, I did have a staff member from the summer prior to last summer, and she came last summer because she wanted to see all the kids and wanted to come back. And so it was fun, so, but.
Are you full for summer for staffing, or are you still working?
I'm actually looking possibly for 3 more. I've actually had quite a few students that have contacted me, high school students, that I'm working on right now, getting them working now so that they kind of get into the program, and then once we start the summer, then they will help out the summer.
Just to let people know, what are the requirements for being a staff member?
Sure. The requirements, so ironically, when we have staff during the school year, it's from 2:45 to 6 o'clock. And then that could also depend on, how many kids we have, because as we lose kids and, some of our staff, we let go earlier than that. Usually our high school staff go from 2:45 to 5 o'clock, or no, I'm sorry, 3:30 to 5 o'clock, because then that way I can let them off so that they can do other things. And then usually I have my adult staff that help with other things till 6 o'clock. My biggest thing is if you like working with kids, that's what we always look for, is somebody that likes working with kids and,
I'm guessing since it's childcare, there's some kind of background.
Yes, we have to do a background check, on each of our, staff members through DHHS. And then the school also does a background, because all of our stuff runs through the school. And then, all staff, 19 years and older have to be fingerprinted before they can start.
And then I'm gonna guess you would train them if they don't know, like, first aid.
Yes. So, we do have to have, training in Safe With You, Power to Protect, which is, child abuse training. And then we also, do first aid and CPR, and training that they have to have. So.
And as far as professional development goes?
Yes. So ironically, one of the things that we like our staff to have is 6 to 12 in-service hours of training.
Every year?
Every year. And we do have a Get Connected conference. That's an after-school conference sponsored by 21st Century. And we usually do that in September in Kearney, and then they kind of alternate between Kearney and Omaha. And then we also I've had staff attend an Innovation Invitational in Lincoln in March. And so they were able to get 12 in-service hours there. I've also been working with the Impact Center in Gothenburg One of the speakers that we went to at the Get Connect conference in September, we reached out to her, and she's going to come out here and do an in-service for challenging behaviors with some of our students. And so between Nicole and I, we set up a training. It'll be April 28th and 29th at the Impact Center. So
That was my other question is, do all the other schools in Dawson County have the same program?
Lexington has an after-school program, but they are discontinuing it next year. Gothenburg does not. Eustis and Farnham do not. Cozad does. North Platte, Kearney, and there's multiple ones within the state, like Lincoln and Omaha. A lot of their programs are not through a school setting like ours are. Some of theirs are like collective for youth, and some other like private, like YMCA's.
For profit.
Yeah. And so that are also funded through the 21st Century Grant. So.
I'm also guessing, actually I know this, but I'm asking.
Sure.
Since you're through a grant, how is the program evaluated?
Yes. So ironically, we have to be evaluated the second and the fourth year of your program. And so that's one thing that we're starting the process of being evaluated here within the next month or two. So.
And how historically has Cozad's AfterZone been evaluated?
We actually have 21st Century has had some new bases in their program. And so some of the evaluations are a little different than they have been in the past. We have had Erica Weibels had came out. She is with 21st Century. She came out and she did a tour and kind of saw what we do in our program. And I think that was in September, October. And then we've also there's another UNMC has someone that comes out, and in the fall of 2023, they came out and evaluated our program. And so we had no issues with our
I was gonna say, it's,
evaluation.
my point is, it's always been rated pretty high.
Yes. Ironically, James Ford, who was our past superintendent last year, had made the comment to me that when he goes to any superintendent meetings or anything, a lot of people come up to him and go, "Oh, so you guys have that Cozad AfterZone in your program, huh?" So we're known within the state as being a very big program. So.
More questions, sorry, I took over.
No, you're fine, you're fine. So I like how you mentioned earlier that some of your volunteers over the years have been college students. So I'm curious to know if you reach out to the colleges to let them know, or is it just college students from Cozad that kind of know about the AfterZone?
So ironically, with you asking that question, college students usually will contact that are local. There are some that Kearney they get a lot of their college students through the college, of course.
Yeah.
But if we have like some of the students that come home for the summer, will contact me and ask to work. So.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. And then our high school students also I just hired 5 new high school students.
Okay.
And of those, 4 of them have been in the program before. And so that's been a huge thing, is seeing the kids that have been in the program in the past that come back and want to work in the program in the summer. So.
Gotcha. Okay. And you mentioned earlier that with AfterZone, you take field trips from time to time.
Yes.
What are some of the locations you've gone over the years?
So we have done probably field trips the last 3 years. We've done the Kearney Children's Museum.
Okay.
We've done the North Platte Children's Museum. And then we've gone to the Edgerton Explore It. Yep.
Yeah.
And so we usually kindergarten through 2nd, we've got taken to the children's museums, and then the Explore It I've had 3rd through 5th, because a lot of times that's a little more advanced. but the kids come back, they've learned so much, and we try to do it along with what our theme is for the summer,
Mhm.
and so that has always helped too, so.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Is there a certain deadline for those summer applications to be completed?
We always say that we would like to have them as soon as possible, so then that way we know what our numbers are gonna look like for the
Mhm.
summer. But I would say that probably, that May 22nd would be the last day that we will be taking any, so.
Gotcha, okay. Well, those are all the questions that I had on
Sure.
my end. so,
Sure, you bet.
Yeah,
My questions flipped inside and outside my head.
That's okay.
A few that I
Yeah.
had gone again. Oh, no, actually, I was thinking of one. You do partnerships with
Yes.
different people. Can
Yes.
you talk a little bit about who those partners are and how they partner with?
Sure. We have, Charitable Fund of Cozad is our community partner. And then we also have, of course, the other donors. Some of our other community partners, we've had, in the past, that donate and, different services and stuff to our program. Last summer, with having the career field, or career exploration as our, theme, we created all kinds of new community partners, which was great. So we had, we talked with, Doc Holbein with the veterinarian, or Cozad Veterinary Clinic. Waypoint Bank, Waypoint Financial. We actually did a tour of the, Waypoint Bank, for our banking day. We had, Clay Etherton, who was a postmaster, came and talked about being a postal carrier. We had, every day we had somebody different, and so that was huge with creating some more community partner relationships. And so, yeah, it was good. We, went to the Cozad Hospital. We had, a tour of the radiology department, and then also a tour of some of the new facilities at the hospital. We've also had, physical therapists came in, occupational therapists came in. We had a registered nurse and a, physician assistant came in. So it was huge, some of these, and being able to have these community partners. Like I said, each week we had different people. One of our parents works for Bayer, and she came in and talked about, what, you get corn, but what can you make out of corn, and brought in all this stuff. And so, it was a really learning experience with them being able to come in and bring something, that had to do with their career. And so even, I had, my sister came in as a real estate, she's a realtor, and I thought, okay, what is she gonna talk about? Well, she's like, oh, well, they have this program and you can put in an address and it'll tell you how much this house is worth. Well, then people were giving addresses, and one of ours, had an address for Las Vegas, so they were like comparing a house in Las Vegas to a house in Nebraska. And so it was, it was kind of interesting. We had, the city administrator city planner come in and talk about her job. And we had, it was neat to be able to create those partnerships in the community. And then plus the kids, were able to see, what those jobs and what jobs there are within a community. So, and I think, and it was really neat to see too at the, Get Connected conference, they asked me to, come and talk about what we did last summer, and then some of the other programs in the state are looking at doing career exploration with their programs this summer. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, do you have any more questions?
not from my end, no.
I've asked a lot of questions, and to be totally fair, I am on the
Yes, you are on my
advisory board, and I have
Yep.
been on the advisory board for a long time. So I knew a lot of these things. I wasn't trying to put you on the spot.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
It was like, oh, you haven't talked about this.
Yeah.
I know this, but lots of people don't.
Yeah, and the program is huge. I think the biggest thing is having that relationship and having those community partners in our program is a huge benefit for us.
Well, and a safe space for kids.
Yes, a safe space for kids and a place where kids, I mean, we know that they're getting a snack before they go home and they have something to eat and then.
And they know, and you know, they're having help with their homework.
Exactly, yep. And we do have, and that was something I didn't even mention, we do have a teacher, one of our teachers, Miss Buss, in the school system, actually stays from 4 to 5. And if students 3rd through 5th have homework and need help, they're able to go into her classroom and she helps them with their homework to make sure they get their homework done before they go home. So, which is huge too for some parents, because a lot of times by the time they get picked up, they don't have much time to do anything else before kids have to go to bed. So, yeah.
I was thinking there was one other question. Oh, I know. In the past, it's a twofold thing. How can people get involved if they're interested in volunteering? And 2, people used to donate items.
Right.
Yarn or whatever. Can you talk about those 2 things?
Sure. So we always are open to have volunteers come into the program. That's kind of where it came from with the guest speakers and coming and volunteering their time to talk about their jobs. If anybody is interested, they can contact me at the school at any time. I'm there I usually get there around 9 in the morning and I'm there some days till 6. And then I'm usually there most of the day during the summertime. So, and yes, we do have different families and different people will donate stuff to our program. And so we do have one family that donates toilet roll, empty toilet rolls and different stuff and egg cartons and stuff like that, so that we use for our projects and do different things with them.
We've come and taken some.
Yeah.
Because we've been short.
Yeah. So
it's kind of a reciprocal thing.
yes, exactly. And, and we do have some families in the community will donate games, they'll donate puzzles. I get phone calls all the time, hey, we were going through stuff, would you be interested in? And we're always taking stuff to help with our program. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For coming today.
Yeah.
Just to let everybody know, next month, tentatively, because it's not quite April 15th, I have to confirm this after April 15th because it is tax season. But tentatively, our next community chat is going to be the Meridian Events Center, the new events place. That's the old diagnostic center. So hopefully we'll have people come to that. Tomorrow, just to let you know, it's part of the National Library Week. So we're having a Write Your Peeps here at the library from 9 to noon. So if you love what's happening in your city, your state, your federal governments, you can come in and write a thank you. If you have any concerns, you can come in and write those as well. So we hope people can join us for coffee, cookies, conversation, and correspondence. Otherwise, thanks for joining in today.